Our former colleague, as of about 10 minutes ago, Tulsi Gabbard, is now been confirmed as the Director of National Intelligence. And I wanted to say thank you to everyone who signed that petition, who got behind Tulsi. As you know, she has been our friend, our colleague, our broadcast partner here for the last number of years. And we really are pushing hard because we knew this is very important for the country, and we believe that she's going to do a great job as the Director of National Intelligence. And hopefully, down the road, you'll hear from her again on this broadcast, maybe sometime. But know that we are in touch with her, and it's just been, and we're making sure that she knows that you had all that support from you at the ACLJ, all of you supporters, all of you donors, all the ones that signed on to those petitions. This is an exciting time because it seems as if even the ones that maybe were quote unquote controversial are making their way through. Well, there was no real surprises on the votes. It seemed like the Republicans that were going to vote no did vote no. No one really flipped, but it's smooth. It was pretty smooth sailing other than a few minutes of kind of semi-filibustering.
The Democrats did try to prolong it as long as they could. They, when they were trying to do a quorum call, they tried to get some extra time in there. But they eventually moved on to the vote. The final tally, 52-48, losing only one Republican. Take a wild guess who that is. The former Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, voted no. He put out a lengthy statement as to why, that is saying that, the Senate's power of advice and consent is not an option. It's an obligation, and one we cannot pretend to misunderstand. I would love to go back through Senator McConnell's yes votes on some of the worst deep state actors that got elected to nominations.
Where did he put that statement out?
So Chad Pergram from Fox News has the statement. I assume it's probably on his website, but quickest way to get it was from Chad Pergram over at Fox News.
Just curious.
But putting out a statement on why he opposed her and saying that when a nominee's record proves them unworthy of the highest public trust and when their command of relevant policy falls short of the requirements of their office, the Senate should withhold consent.
Got any suggestions of who should replace Tulsi Gabbard on this broadcast team? If they're not currently serving in an active role that we can't get them in, let me know. Put it in the comments. Who do you think should join us? I'd love to hear that. We're always putting together new people to be on this broadcast team. And as you've seen, we've had some changeovers over the last few months. So this gives us an opportunity. There's a lot of you that called in as well. But I do want to say right before the vote happened, and this will be the last day, I hope, that we have to hear from people like Chuck Schumer really complaining about our friends, if you will. This is Chuck Schumer just minutes before the vote began. He decided to get up on his high horse and make a statement. This is bite 3.
I think most senators would agree there are better choices to lead national intelligence. You know what my guess is? If we had a secret ballot, Gabbard might get 10 votes and 40 against her from the other side. People know. That's why they raise so many questions.
And 25 minutes later or so, she was confirmed, or maybe 35 minutes later, as Director of National Intelligence.
And what Chuck Schumer seems to forget there is that it's advice and consent, not nomination by the Senate. So just because a senator thinks they may know someone who they would like better in that role, that isn't their job. Their job is to give advice and then consent if they go through the hearing process. And unless it is something egregiously disqualifying, and typically the nominee withdraws their name before it even gets that far, they should move forward. That's even why the statement from Senator McConnell rings so hollow when you think about he is one of those rubber stamp type senators when it comes to approving nominations. Now, he did hold off and not move Merrick Garland through as Supreme Court Justice at the end of Obama's term. That's probably the one good thing that I can point to immediately that he did on nominations, but he is of that old guard that was very traditionally just rubber stamping nominees through, and he all of a sudden decides that he doesn't like Tulsi Gabbard and decides to be the lone Republican no vote. Fortunately, it wasn't necessary. All of the ones that we were concerned about through the process decided that through the process of advice and consent, of having the meetings with the nominee, having the hearings, follow-up questions, the background checks, all of this, that even if they had early concerns or disagreed on some policy, that at the end of the day, they shared a vision with Tulsi Gabbard on how to lead the department and the office of the Director of National Intelligence. It's a great day for America. It's a great day for the viewers of this broadcast, the members of the ACLJ, because in what world did you think, Logan, or myself even, that a colleague on the broadcast or someone that our audience has gotten to know very well, even though she was a national name within the conservative movement, our audience really got to start to know her very early on compared to everyone else. So you have seen and heard from her. You've been almost conducting hearings on her worthiness for years now by hearing what she has to say. And it's just a remarkable moment. And it also shows that the Democrats, especially in the Senate, are so freaking out about what's going to happen next because they can't contain themselves, that Chuck Schumer is having to get up there and say, I bet only 10 people would actually vote for her if it was a secret ballot. Fortunately, it's not how it works. It's a roll call vote. And I don't believe him at all on that as well. That is just hyperbole and him trying to make a last-ditch effort of getting her not confirmed. It didn't work. He failed. The left failed. All of the smear campaign that she's a puppet and a Russian agent failed. 52-48. Tulsi Gabbard is your next Director of National Intelligence.
4 years ago, if you could have thought that Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. would be in the cabinet for President Trump's second presidency, I don't think any of us really predicted it, that you'd have such a massive move, even from two former Democrats at this point, moving towards being part of this administration. Really shows where things have moved.
Congratulations to our colleague Tulsi. She's going to be amazing. Director of National Intelligence. I think the more people that just sat with her again, people that were willing to talk, not just read the newspaper, but when you talk to Tulsi, you realize she's an amazing, thoughtful, smart person who cares about the United States. And so when you move beyond the filter of the media and you get to know someone or you listen to their points, I think everything changes. The control that the media want, the control that the bureaucracies want, the control that Washington, D.C. types want is to limit the information and accessibility to the actual people. They want to be the filter. The more they're the filter, then they can dupe the American people. We have a system right now where we're going straight to the American people.